Hello and welcome. And today we're on to a new topic, which is ratios. And this comes in three parts. They're all fairly short, and hopefully it's not too tough. So, what are ratios? Ratios are a way of showing the size of two different parts of a whole. The different parts can be decided by almost anything, big or small, blue or black, teacher, student, and so on. They can be three different parts, like blue, black, or green, etc., but it can get confusing. So, ratios with more than two parts are not often used. So what's the difference between ratios and fractions? So let's start with looking at fractions. So we're looking at this pizza on the right, which is cut into slices, and the fraction we're looking at is 2 by 5. So there are 5 pieces, and we are only interested in the two blue ones at the top. So a fraction tells us that we're looking at 2 pieces out of a total of 5 pieces, 2 by 5. A ratio never tells us there are 5 pieces. A ratio tells us how many pieces we are looking at, which is 2, the two blue ones, and how many other pieces there are, 3. So the ratio is 2 ratio 3. And if we want to know the total number of pieces, you have to add the two sides of the ratio together. 2 plus 3 equals the total 5. A ratio is written with a colon, two dots, one above the other, like in the picture, separating the numbers. So you have the first number, then the colon, and then the second number. And you read this as first number ratio second number, so 4 ratio 2. Sometimes people will say 4 to 2, 4 to 2. A ratio is written with a colon, two dots, one above the other, like in the picture, separating the numbers. So you have the first number, then the colon, and then the second number. And you read this as first number ratio second number, so 4 ratio 2. Sometimes people will say 4 to 2, 4 to 2. So here's an example, a visual example. On the right, you can see some circles and triangles. What is the ratio of circles to triangles? So first question, how many circles are there? So there are 3 circles. Question 2, how many triangles are there? And the answer is 2. Now question 3, which one do I put first in my ratio? And the answer is the one that was first in the question. So the question was, what is the ratio of circles first to triangles second? So when we're writing our ratio, we have to put circles first in the answer. So the answer is 3 ratio 2. So here's an example as a word problem. 30 students are going on a picnic and 3 students can't go. What is the ratio of students who are going on the picnic to students who can't go? So the method is the same as the first example. So the question, how many students are going? And the answer is 30. How many can't go? And the answer is 3. So the third question, which one comes first in the question? Answer, students going. So students going, ratio students who can't go is 30 ratio 3. Now, a new thing. If the first and the second numbers can be divided by the same number, you should go ahead and divide. So 3 and 30 can both be divided by 3, so we go ahead and divide. 30 divided by 3, 10. 3 divided by 3, 1. So the new ratio is 10 ratio 1. Dividing like this helps people understand better. For example, 30 ratio 3, 20 ratio 2, and 60 ratio 6 are all 10:1. But you might never know that if they were written as 30:3, 20:2, and 60:6. And I told you it was going to be short. How do we use ratios in our life? One of the most common ways is the opposite of the dividing we did earlier. So, for example, your school is building 10 new toilets. You know the ratio of boys to girls at school is 2:3. How many of the 10 new toilets should be for boys and how many for girls? Step 1, we add the two numbers in the ratio together. The first number is 2 and the second number is 3, so 2 plus 3 equals 5. So what the ratio is telling us is that out of every 5 students, 2 are boys and 3 are girls. Step 2, divide the number you want to know about, so in this example 10 toilets, by the answer to step 1, which was 5. So the answer is 10 divided by 5 equals 2. What we're saying is you can make 2 groups of 5 out of 10. We already know that every group of 5 toilets is 2 for boys and 3 for girls. So step 3, if we have 2 groups and every group has 2 boys, the number of boys' toilets will be 2, the number of groups, times 2, the number of boys in each group. 2 times 2 equals 4. And you can see it in the picture there. 2 ways to find out how many girls' toilets there should be. The quickest and easiest is this. We know the school is building 10 toilets. That was told us in the question. If 4 of the 10 are for boys, how many are for girls? The answer is 10 minus 4 equals 6 for girls. The other way is to repeat the way that we calculated the number for boys. We've already done step 1 when we did the boys calculation, so we know the number of groups is 2. We also know that 3 out of every group of 5 are girls. So we have to multiply the number of groups, 2, times the number of girls in a group, 3. Answer 2 times 3 equals 6. And the answer calculating this way is the same as calculating the other way. Final checks. If you have time, it's always a good idea to do it both ways. It's slower, but if you get the same answer both ways, you can be happy that it's right. One final check. The answer for boys and girls added together should equal 10 toilets. So there are 4 new toilets for boys and 6 for girls. So yes, they equal 10. Now we're going to look at another way to calculate ratios. And it's called tape diagrams, T-A-P-E. And this is a really easy way to calculate ratios. So our example is going to be this. There are 250 students in the school. The ratio of boys to girls is 3:2. How many boys are there? How many girls? So first you draw the boxes like you can see on your screen, the blue boxes. 3 for boys, 2 for girls. The top one has 3 parts because the first number in the ratio is 3. If the first number was 5, you would draw 5 boxes. So the first one is boys. Now you do the same for the second number. So the second number is 2, so it has 2 boxes for girls. If the second number was 6, you would draw 6 boxes. So now we have our 3 boxes for boys and 2 for girls. Next step, step 2. We know from the question there are 250 students. We also know there are 5 people in each group. because we have 5 boxes. So now we need to find out how many groups. And the answer is 250, the number of total students, divided by the number of people in each group, which we know is 5. So 250 divided by 5 equals 50. Now you write the answer 50 in every box, like the picture. So 50, 50, 50 for the boys, 50, 50 for the girls. Now to get the total number of boys, you add up the number in the boys' boxes. 50 plus 50 plus 50 equals 150. To get the total number of girls, you add up the number in the girls' boxes. 50 plus 50 equals 100. So check. Just like when you use the other way to find a ratio, make sure the two numbers add up to the correct total. So 150 boys plus 100 girls equals 250 students. So that's okay. Okay, another use for ratios, comparing. Sometimes ratios are used to compare different situations. For example, the ratio of students who pass the math exam to those who fail is 1:3 in teacher Ari's class, but 1:4 in teacher Joanna's class. People might see this and try to find out why the ratios are different. So here's a word problem. In word problems, the question may not tell you the ratio. You have to recognize it. For example, it may say there is one foreigner living in Bangkok for every 10 Thai people. This is a different way to say the ratio of foreigners to Thai people is 1 to 10. Another example, in 2025, there were 12 girl babies born in Tithalé and 8 boy babies. This is a different way to say the ratio of girl babies to boy babies was 12:8. Or, after you divide both sides by 4, 3:2. Sometimes the questions don't tell you a ratio. For example, it will tell you the ratio is 3:2 and ask you how many of each kind if the total number is 50. The method is the same even though you don't know what the ratio is about. So step 1, add the two sides of the ratio together to find out how many in a group. So answer 3 plus 2 equals 5. Step 2, take the total number, 50, and divide by the answer to step 1, which was the number in each group. So the answer is 50 divided by 5 equals 10. That means there are 10 groups with 5 in each group. There are 10 groups, and in each group the first figure is 3. The first figure will be 3 times the number of groups, 3 times 10, and the answer is 30. If there are 10 groups and in each group the second figure is 2, the second figure will be 2 times the number of groups, which is 10. 2 times 10 equals 20. So the answer for the first kind will be 30 and the second kind will be 20. And again, check, once you know the first group, you can also find the size of the second group by taking the number in the first group, 30, from the total 50. So the answer, 50 minus 30 equals 20. And the answer is the same. It doesn't matter which way you calculate it. Second check. Do the first and second numbers add up to 50? So 30 plus 20 equals 50. Yes, we're all good. Okay, now we're going to look at a more complicated example, a word problem. Sometimes a question will have more than one ratio. So here's the example. There are 100 students in your grade. The ratio of dorm students to other students is 1:4. The ratio of dorm students who can speak Burmese is 2:3. And the question is, how many dorm students can speak Burmese? This looks very long and complicated, but don't be confused. Really, it is just two ratio problems joined together in one question. If you do them step by step, it's just the same as answering two questions. So what are the two questions? Question 1. There are 100 students in your school. The ratio of dorm students to other students is 1:4. Stop there. Before you continue, calculate how many dorm students. So how many dorm students are there? Add the two numbers in the ratio together. The first number is 1 and the second number is 4. So 1 plus 4 equals 5. What the ratio is telling us is that out of every 5 students, 1 is a dorm student and 4 are not. Divide the number you want to know about, so in this example 100 students, by the answer to step 1, which was 5. So 100 divided by 5 equals 20. What we're saying is you can make 20 groups of 5 out of 100 students. We already know that every group of 5 students is 1 dorm student and 4 others. So if we have 20 groups and every group has 1 dorm student, the number of dorm students will be 20, the number of groups times 1, the number of dorm students in each group. 20 times 1 equals 20. So now we know the number of dorm students. That is what we wanted to find. We don't need to find the number of other students. Remember this? It said stop there before you continue, calculate how many dorm students. That's what we've just done. Now the main question was, there are 100 students in your grade. The ratio of dorm students to other students is 1:4. The ratio of dorm students who can speak Burmese is 2:3. How many dorm students can speak Burmese? That was the question. Now we know that the number of dorm students is 20. So we can look at the second part of the question, which says the ratio of dorm students who can speak Burmese is 2:3. How many dorm students can speak Burmese? So now we repeat how we did the first question. We add the two sides of the ratio, 2 and 3 together. So 2 plus 3 equals 5. What the ratio is telling us is out of every group of 5 dorm students, 2 can speak Burmese and 3 cannot. Divide the number you want to know about. So in this example, 20 dorm students, which was the answer we got earlier from step 1. Divide it by the number of groups, which is 5 groups. So the answer is 20 divided by 5 equals 4. So we're saying you can make 4 groups of 5 out of 20 students. So we have 4 groups of dorm students. Every group has 2 Burmese speakers. So the number of Burmese speakers will be 4, the number of groups, times 2, the number of Burmese speakers in each group. 4 times 2 equals 8. So the answer, the number of dorm students who can speak Burmese, is 8. Okay, your turn. First question. A packet of candy has 10 red ones and 20 white ones. What is the ratio of white to red? So I'm going to move on to the answer now, so pause if you need to. Here we go. The answer is 2:1. How did that come? Well, the question asked for white first, so the ratio is 20:10, and then we divide both sides by 10, which makes 2:1. There are 60 students from Brigade 5 and 20 from Brigade 3. What is the ratio of students from Brigade 3 to Brigade 5? answer is 1:3. The question asks for Brigade 3 first, so the ratio is 20:60. But we can simplify by dividing both sides by 20, so it becomes 1:3. If the ratio is 2:7, how many groups are there if there are 36 people? So I'm going to go ahead with the answer now. The answer is 4. How do we get 4? Well, firstly, we add the two numbers in the ratio. 2 plus 7 equals 9. And then 36 divided by 9 equals 4. So if each group has 9 people, you can make 4 groups out of 36 people. In Yangon, 2 out of every 10 people are Karen. What is the ratio of other ethnic groups to Karen? Okay, let's go to the answer. The answer is 4:1. Where did that come from? Well, if 2 out of 10 are Karen, there must be 8 non-Karen people in every group of 10. So the question asks for other ethnic groups to be first, so the ratio is 8:2. This can be simplified to 4:1. In Titale, in 2023, there were 12 boys born and 10 girls. In 2024, there were 12 boys born and 10 girls. What is the ratio of girls to boys for the 2 years together? And I'm going to the answer now. And the answer is 5:6. How do we get that one? Total girls is 20, 10 in each year. Total boys is 24, 12 in 2023, plus 12 in 2024. So the question asks for girls first. So the ratio is 20:24. We can divide both of those by 4, and it becomes 5:6. Next one, 50% of grade 10 students play football every day, 25% play volleyball, and 25% don't play any sport. What is the ratio of volleyball players to football players? So I'm going to the answer now. And the answer is 1:2. So forget about the students who don't play sport. The question doesn't ask about them. Forget about the percentage sign. The question asks for volleyball first, so it's 25:50. Divide both by 25, and the answer is 1:2. There are 30 students in your class. The ratio of boys to girls is 2:3. The ratio of girls who play volleyball to girls who don't is 2:1. How many girls play volleyball? This is an example of 2 questions combined into one question. You do them one by one, and it's not too hard. The first one is, how many girls are there? The boy-girl ratio is 2:3, and there are 30 students. So each group has 5 students, 2 boys and 3 girls. 30 students divided by 5 each group, and that means there are 6 groups. There are 6 groups, and each group has 3 girls, so that equals 6 times 3 girls equals 18 girls. So that's the end of the first question. How many girls are there? The second question is how many girls play volleyball? The ratio of play to don't play is 2:1. So each group has 3 people, 2 plus 1. We know from the answer to question 1 that there are 18 girls. So 18 divided by 3 equals 6. So there are 6 groups. Each group has 2 girls. 6 times 2 equals 12. So 12 girls play volleyball. And this is the end, my friend. See you next time.